Hey guys, welcome back. Today on The Untidy Artist, we're making lavender sachets. These are little fabric pouches made using leftover fabric, and they are filled with dried lavender buds. They smell amazing. They are wonderful to throw in your drawer or closet, and I thought they'd be fun for Mother's Day. So let's grab some supplies and get started. The first thing you'll need is some fabric, and I just grabbed some fabric from leftover projects. You can use the same fabric on each side. I decided it would be fun to kind of mix it up, and I'm doing one fabric on the front of my little sachet and one fabric on the back. Then you'll need some iron-on adhesive. I'll be using heat bond and the kind that's made for hems. Because it's already cut, I'll be using the 3/8 of an inch width. It works perfectly to hold our little pouches together. Then you'll need some lavender flowers. I found mine at the health food store. These are just dried lavender flowers and they smell absolutely amazing. You'll need a pattern for this project. You'll just cut out a 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch square. I cut mine out of cardstock. It seemed to work a lot better. You'll need a couple of pins so you can hold everything together while you're cutting it, something to measure with, and then I'll actually be using two different types of scissors. Here are my regular scissors that have a little pink dot so my kids don't steal them. And then I'll also be using some pinking shears. This will give me a cute little zigzag edge around the edges of my sachet. You'll need an iron to adhere everything together with your iron-on adhesive, and then I just grabbed a spoon out of my kitchen. Okay, the first step is to decide what section of your fabric you want to cut out, and I loved this little red bird in the corner. So I layer both of my fabrics on top of each other, and then I grab my pattern, and using my pins, I line up my pattern and just pin it down to the corner over the section that I've decided I want to cut out. And it's fun to kind of match up the designs and center them in a way that you like how it looks. And then you just cut that out with your regular scissors, making sure that the edges are even. Then set those aside and grab your iron-on adhesive. And we're going to measure this out. You can see that this is a 3/8 of an inch width. It does come in different sizes, so make sure you get something that's a 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. I'm going to cut 2 of the pieces at about 3 inches, and then 2 of the pieces at about a little more than 3 inches. So we're going to lay down the 2 shorter ones on both of the sides. The longest one is going to go across the top, and then you can see across the bottom, I've got my adhesive overlapping. Now what we're going to do is we're only going to iron 3 of the sides together. So you can see we're leaving the top open, and we want to make sure that the whole strip of iron-on adhesive fits across the top. I promise this will make it easier when we're putting that last strip in to hold everything together. So they can overlap on the bottom, that's absolutely fine, but make sure that that top strip can lay completely across the top of your 3.5 inch square. So you can see I've got both of my sides and the bottom overlapping, and I'm going to put my first piece of fabric pattern side down. Then I've put my adhesive in the middle, and then I'm going to put my next piece of fabric right over the top, pattern side up, so you can see we're just making a little pouch. And then grab your iron and just gently iron both sides. You just want that adhesive to adhere. Set it aside so it can cool off a little bit, and then grab your pinking shears and carefully cut around the edges of your square. And I like to line up the scissors so that the zigzag pattern stays nice and even. And you can see I'm just barely trimming off the edge to give me that cute zigzag effect. The next step is to grab your lavender flowers. And I can't believe how just beautiful these smell. I was amazed at how little each little pouch required. And so open up your little pouch, and I put in about 2 spoonfuls, so approximately 2 tablespoons full. You want to leave a little bit of room around for the lavender to move around inside of the little pouch. So you can see I did 2 spoonfuls. And then you're going to gently kind of push the lavender down towards the bottom of your pouch. because we still need to seal it up at the top. And we want to make sure that when we're ironing, we're not using the iron on top of any of the lavender buds. So flip down the top and you can see why now we left that whole top open. It's just a lot easier to slide that piece of iron-on adhesive in and then line it up and iron it, being careful not to iron the lavender buds. And I kind of just gently push them down if any start to creep up towards the top where my iron is. And that's it. I love that this doesn't require any sewing. I decided to do a set of 3 for my kids to give my mom and my mother-in-law, so they have a cute gift for their grandmas. I think I'm going to give a set of these to my sister for Mother's Day. And I did 3 different patterns using different fabrics that I just really liked how they matched, and that way they can grab their little sachets and throw them in their clothing drawer. You can see here I took some ribbon and just tied it around the little pack of 3 and tied it into a knot at the top. And then I had some flowers left over from a different project, some little flowers I got at the craft store, and I just took a tiny little piece of that and slid it into the top. And that's it, guys. You're all set. You have these very elegant, beautiful little lavender sachets. They make a perfect and very thoughtful homemade Mother's Day gift. I love how lavender is relaxing. It smells beautiful. It's fun to put in your drawers and makes your clothes smell amazing. It's also great at repelling moths, so I really like throwing these in with my sweaters, and they just smell really pretty. Please check out some of my other DIY tutorials. I have a lot of great tutorials for Mother's Day gifts. You can find those on my YouTube channel or at untitledartist.com. If you have any questions or would like to leave a lovely comment, you can do that in the comments below. Please give this a big thumbs up if you liked it. And as always, thank you so much for your support. We'll see you guys next time.